and then it got real sticky and chunky and he put a bunch of layers on it.
Oh
So
no.
typically the problem is what product they use, which is step number one, right?
That's just a short little snippet of a full interview I did with Brittany of Master Hands Painting. With that, we'll just jump right into it.
What's up, guys? Mike Holt here. I am with Brittany Grace of Master Hands Painting. We're going to do a great podcast interview for you, talking about painting, painting needs, and things to look out for. So, Brittany, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome, awesome. So, we'll start off here with kind of who you are and what do you do?
So my name's Brittany Gonzalez. I'm with Master Hands Painting. We do commercial and residential painting throughout the valley. We've been in business since 1995. So we do a lot of epoxy floors,
Wow,
cabinet repainting, interior, exterior painting.
nice. So, you said you started in 95.
hmm
Wow. So, I guess what have you seen over that time, kind of like changes in kind of the business and kind of the market out there?
A lot of color schemes have definitely changed. Those always go with the trends and stuff
Hmm.
like that. So that's been a lot of change. Typically, prices have also changed.
Hmm.
So whether it's like materials or labor cost,
Hmm.
those things have definitely gone up. But other than that, it's pretty comparable.
Okay.
Um,
What would you say the most common color schemes are right now?
so right now we're using a lot of like whites and grays. People are going with real minimal looks.
Okay.
So a common color that we're using is called Foggy Day by
Okay.
Don Edwards, and then we also use like pure white, um, extra white is a common color. So
Okay.
people are kind of going away from a lot of vibrant colors or even
Hmm.
the warmer color schemes and going with cooler color schemes.
Hmm.
But there's always those few people that are like, no, I want to be opposite from the trends. I want these crazy colors. So whatever they want to do, we're happy to kind of help them play with those colors. We also do offer free color consultations,
Oh wow.
so that can kind of prevent color mistakes, if you will.
Hmm.
I have a client right now, for example, who was dead set on all these colors. They loved them. And then once they see them all on the walls everywhere in the house, it could be a little bit
Yeah.
overpowering. They might look darker. So we definitely recommend to take advantage of the free color consultations that we
Hmm.
offer. That way we can kind of slap some paint on the wall and you can get an actual feel for it instead of just those color chips.
Yeah, because oftentimes, like, you'll put it up there, it's wet, and when it dries, it'll be completely different, basically.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, and in different lighting or against different areas in your home,
Hmm.
whether it's the floor or maybe near your cabinets, you kind of want to see how the color goes next to each other.
Hmm. Yeah, that
So,
makes
kind of
sense.
seeing how it is in the daytime versus night without the sun kind of can darken up a color really quickly.
Yeah, so definitely you don't recommend someone just going into a paint shop like, oh, this looks good.
Right, yeah, I think that they should definitely try out a paint sample if they have the ability to,
Mhm.
and then if they have a project with us, we offer those for free.
Awesome, awesome. So, what are some of the things that you do different from the painter down the street?
So typically, we have a lot better customer service.
Mhm.
We have an assistant who's available to take calls throughout the day while we're on projects. We're super clean with our projects, so that's like one of our biggest compliments that we always
Mhm.
get. Whether we're completely done or whether we're just leaving for the night, we're not going to leave our trash everywhere. It's a common thing at a construction site. I don't know
Mm.
why people just throw their trash on the floor and like keep
Yeah.
working. That's not how my crew operates. So that's one big plus. And then just the experience. We don't have like teenagers out there painting your
Mhm.
house, someone that you can't really trust. They're all trustworthy people that have been with us for a while.
Mhm.
They've all been trained, they've practiced and everything like that, so
Oh,
they know what
nice.
they're doing.
You're not just hiring the person that's off school for the summer, basically.
Right, exactly, exactly.
So you said that you do commercial and residential.
hmm
What are some of the key differences that you see between those types of jobs?
So typically with commercial jobs, they're pretty large in
Mhm.
size or they're repetitive. So one of our
Okay.
common commercial projects that we've worked with is for a retirement center.
Okay.
So we paint units in and out as people are moving out
Mhm.
or passing away. So we do those units, whether it's just the full interior or cabinets
Okay.
also. So just doing kind of
Mm.
one unit at a time
Okay.
sporadically. But we've also painted the whole building on the inside. So
Mm.
that project took us like 4 or 5 months, I would say, this
Wow.
year. So it really is the difference would be the size
Mm.
and the repetition.
Gotcha. That makes sense. You're not seeing crazy color schemes in a commercial building too often?
No, not really. Sometimes, for example, for a storage unit, they
Mm-hmm.
had a really vibrant red that they needed to cover up with a
Mm-hmm.
yellow. So sometimes you might see them play with different colors
Oh,
because they're doing like a branding thing. So it might
gotcha.
go
That
with
makes
their
sense.
logo. But other than that, like for the retirement center, we use custom colors for them. So that's
Mm,
another really interesting thing that some people aren't aware of.
yeah.
If you like a color a lot, but you think it's just too dark, you can always do like 50% of that color
Oh,
formula, and it's about half
okay.
the darkness and so on. So you can kind of adjust colors however you want, and it just gives you an infinite amount of opportunities.
Gotcha. So you can if you find a color that's like close, you can kind of mesh mesh with it a little bit and kind of edit it
Yep,
basically.
exactly.
Um, awesome. So you said for like commercial jobs, like that took you 4 or 5 months,
hmm
right? What would you say for a residential job? How long on average that would likely take?
Typically, they're about a week or less.
Okay.
It just depends on the size of the house. If they're like a big mansion out in like Paradise Valley, it could
Mm-hmm.
take us a couple weeks, maybe 2 or 3, depending on the size and the complexity of the
Mm-hmm.
job. But on average, they take about a week.
Okay.
We have a crew of about 5 guys, so we try to work a little bit faster to get in and out of people's way.
Mm-hmm.
Could be a lot when you have construction going on in
Yeah.
your house, especially while you're living there. So that's
Mm-hmm.
another reason why we try to keep them really clean.
Yeah, that's really helpful for people that are going to sell their house if they need that kind of final facelift to kind of make it stand out from the crowd. And that keeping everything roughly a week is super helpful. Quick, easy, get your home on the market, get it sold. Super
Yeah,
helpful.
exactly.
So what are the other kind of like common? Obviously, not every painter is fantastic. What are some of if you're going in after someone else has done a job? What are some common mistakes or things that you're having to clean up?
Typically, it's either using the wrong product. For example, I had a client try to DIY restaining his door,
Oh,
and he applied it kind of like a paint when it was a stain, and then it got real sticky and chunky, and he put a bunch of layers on it.
oh
So
no.
typically the problem is what product they use, which is step number one, right? So if
Mm-hmm.
they don't have that product knowledge and then they just jump in ready to go at something, it could be the wrong product and it could result in a more expensive project in the long
Mm-hmm.
run. So we actually had to strip that door,
Mm-hmm.
which took a really long time, and then repaint it for him.
Mm-hmm.
So he paid like 3 times the amount instead of just getting the door painted, plus all the time and money he put into it on his own.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So that leads me into my next question really well. Is there any point, any type of job where you think it makes sense for someone to do it themselves?
So typically we don't recommend DIYs.
Mm-hmm.
We do leave like little quarts of touch-up paint for our projects just for the convenience, but we do offer to come back if people need touch-ups. So typically with touch-ups, if you just kind of cover up a little spot on the wall, it'll
Mm-hmm.
usually flash and still stand out, even if it's the same product and the same sheen.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just because the paint can oxidize from the
Yeah, that makes
surrounding
sense.
area and stuff like that. So we typically don't recommend doing DIYs because you might actually have to repaint just that whole section of
The
the
entire
wall, yeah,
thing.
corner to corner.
Yeah.
So we don't really recommend DIYs also because if you choose the wrong product like the other guy did, then it could just result in winding up having to pay more money in the long run.
Yeah, like I couldn't imagine having to like you try to do something yourself and like you use the wrong materials or wrong product and have to strip an entire wall or
Mm-hmm.
repaint the entire thing. That just sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah, and another thing too is like with the products that they sell at the stores, like the paint vendors,
Mhm.
we have contractor accounts, so we get contractor
Mhm.
pricing, which is much more affordable for the price point of the project. Where if the homeowner goes and tries to buy it all themselves, they can definitely create their own account there, and it would be like a DIY
Okay.
account, but the prices wouldn't be able to beat the contractor pricing.
Gotcha.
So it's definitely recommended to let your contractor purchase the paint. That
Mhm.
way you don't wind up spending more than you need to.
That makes sense. So like you're getting better prices on the materials and the
hmm
product, and then on top of that, you're getting an expert to actually do the job for you.
Exactly.
So definitely makes sense to go and hire someone out for that type of stuff.
hmm
So what are some of the common questions that you get from clients during like consultations and things like that?
One common thing is people want to know if they need to take all the pictures off the wall or move all their
Mhm.
furniture. So we offer to do all of that. That's all included with their project. So what we do is we take photos of the area or videos, and then we can see where everything was, and then we center everything in the room before covering it up. But with those photos, it helps us with putting everything back without having to bug the homeowner every minute and say, hey, where does this go and where does that go? With taking down all the pictures and stuff, if they want them back up in the same place, then we can leave those nails there. But if they don't want them in the same place, they'll just let us know what's not going back, and we can fill in all those nail holes and stuff like that. So that's
Oh,
a real
wow.
common question.
Okay.
Typically, people will postpone their jobs and stuff like that because they feel like it's so much work, which it still is, but we try to take as much of the hard stuff away from the homeowner and kind of take that on ourselves.
That makes
That
sense.
way it's easier for them. And that's been the common feedback is like,
Gotcha.
wow, this is so much easier than I thought it was going to be. You guys just came in and did everything.
Yeah. Yeah, just like wave a magic wand and like, oh, I'm done.
Exactly. Yep, we could do that.
So, what are some other services that you do offer in addition to painting?
So our common projects that we offer aside from like interior and exterior painting is cabinet painting or
Okay.
epoxy floor coatings. So a lot of people like to redo their cabinets instead of replacing them.
Okay.
If you repaint them, it's typically like a third of the cost instead of replacing them. So it's
Mm-hmm.
budget friendly, but it also looks amazing.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
it's a really easy way to update your whole like kitchen or even the bathrooms just by painting them. It's really common right now for people to just paint them white, get rid of the wood looking color and paint them
Mm-hmm.
white. But grays are common too, or even like a beige, black. Kind of seen it all.
Okay. Nice. So it basically sets out, just do a little facelift and it works out perfectly.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. So, are there any kind of closing thoughts you want to leave? Any way out there, advice, stuff like that?
Definitely make sure that you've done your research on who you're
Mm-hmm.
using to make sure that there's somebody that you want to work with and that they're
Mm-hmm.
gonna have good service for you. Make sure that they're licensed and get a
Mm-hmm.
couple different
Yeah.
quotes just so you can see that there's all within the same ballpark. Um, it's not really about choosing the cheapest one, but
Mm-hmm.
you still want to be able to kind of test the waters and see who it is that's available to help you.
Yep. Find out like what makes sense for you and your kind of budget, and then also what you're looking for. Because, like I said, if you go cheap, it can go badly, if for you.
Exactly.
Um, so you get what you pay for.
Exactly.
Um,
Another thing too would be to make sure if they have warranties and kind of explore what those
mm-hmm.
warranties cover, how long they are, if the paint comes with a warranty.
Mm-hmm.
Sherwin-Williams, a lot of their products do have like lifetime limited warranties. Some of
Okay.
them have 10-year warranties, 15-year warranties, and
Mm-hmm.
then we also offer a 3-year no peel warranty.
Okay.
So with those all combined, it kind of gives the customer peace of mind that they know
Yeah,
they're gonna get quality work, and if it's not quality, we'll come redo it until it
that
is.
makes sense. That definitely makes sense. So research who is going to do the paint job for you. It's very, very important.
Definitely.
So, I think that kind of wraps us up for today. Do want to shout out, she has a food drive going on. So go to her Instagram. What is it?
Master Hands Painting.
Yep. Go find out the details of the food drive. And if you need any painting services, hit her up. And if you're looking to buy or sell a home here in the Phoenix area, go to mackelmethod.com and book a call today. All right. Thank you guys.
Thanks for having me.
All right.